Hey guys, I'm going to try to cover this pretty quick. I have a good bit to cover. So I'm going to give you price targets for Bitcoin, the dollar index, Dow Jones, S&P, Link, oil, and also gold. All of this is kind of tied together. So I got some pivot points I want you to pay attention to. Really quick guys, if you want to access these charts, this is the website. It's opticalcrypto.com. The link will be in the description. All these charts play out live. Just click the link, they load up. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. It's Optical Art Chart. Go here to keep everybody updated. So again, all I want to do is just go over this really quick. I had a live stream I did this morning, and I kind of covered some of this. And also, if you watch that live stream, you can see how these charts played out. So I'll put a link to that at the end of this video, and it'll also be in the description. But just really quick, you can see this yellow line right here. This is our current resistance. You can see that this was our support. You can see that we were finding support here. We broke down, pushed up as resistance, support, resistance, came down as resistance, back to support. So you can see that now, instead of respecting these lines right here, this one right here, you can see now we are respecting this line right here. It represents this blue fib channel line. So we are riding up this line and finding resistance here. Notice right here, 10,800 was also where we topped out here. So that's how I knew this was the pattern we were in. Right here at 10,845. That was where we hit right here. So this told me this was the pattern we were in. So that's what say refer to different charts. But the point I'm getting at, if we push up, your resistance is 10,791-ish. If we drop down, your support is going to be around 10,700. I think it's likely what's going to happen is we're probably bouncing back up and forth in this right here, this pattern right here. Let me draw a little yellow line, see what I mean. So basically we're in this pattern. So at some point we're going to break out of this. If we measure this from now until the apex, we are about 15 hours before the apex. Usually you'll break to the upside or the downside before you get to the apex. But I did want to give you some targets to the upside. So your first target to the upside, obviously is the top of this wedge, 10,787. You push above that, potentially 10,898. Up here is around 11,061. If we break to the downside, obviously you still have this support level here. I'm pretty sure we'll break that. This is currently your support around 10,692. Your next support level below that is this line here that has been a lot of support and resistance going back. Your next support level will be very strong support. This is if we had a major drop. We'll hit this ring before. This also takes me to this pivot ring, which we're coming up on. So if you watched the video a while back I was predicting that we could possibly have a move when we cross this ring. It was possible if we hit the ring. A lot of times these rings act as support to push you up. When you cross it, you can get a drop. You can see how this played out. We crossed a ring, we had a drop. You can see we are respecting this fib circle. Every time we hit this ring, you see we found support, support, support. We broke down to the next ring, pushed back up as resistance. We found support. When we crossed it, we dropped. So we are coming up on that next pivot ring right here. And again, when you make contact, depends on where price is. So let me get rid of this, it's not in the way. So if we go sideways from here, keep in mind guys, from this current price, if we go sideways, we'll make contact with this ring in about 1 day and 15 hours. If we push all the way up, if we're up here, we are going to be about 1 day and 17 hours if we're right here at this 10,898. If we drop, we're going to be much closer to that ring. So if we're down here at 10,589, we're going to hit this ring in 13 hours. So again, depending on where price is, where you make contact, we could hit this ring and ride up it. Once you cross, you can have a drop. So pay attention to this ring. If you do have access to this chart, this is the Bitstamp 91820. This chart here, so this is showing the pattern we're in. This is our support, this is our resistance. So again, your resistance is around 10,786. Your current strong support, very strong support, is 10,679. If you break this, we'll be coming down to right here at 10,469. Out here is 10,494. This is going to be very strong support. You can see back here we had a lot of support repeatedly. So this will be support again if we have a drop. If we drop past that, your next support level is around 10,164. If we push up above this point, your next resistance is 10,934. You can see this has been a lot of resistance. Temporary support. If you push above that, your resistance is going to be around 11,253. So again, and this is the apex of this. Before the apex will be around, let's see, 1 day and 13 hours. Obviously, you can break to the upside or downside at any point. It's before the apex has happened, so I'm just giving you a time frame. Now this does tie into the dollar index, the Dow Jones, and the S&P 500. So if you look at the dollar index, right now you can see we're currently below this white line right here. This has been very strong resistance and support. We are currently below it just a bit. You can see we did wick way down below it, but we pushed back up. I do think it's more likely we push back up above this point around 93.83. If we do continue down, your next strong support is $93.30. If that happens, if we drop down this far, that will be very that would be bullish for Bitcoin, gold, silver, and the markets. The dollar dropping, that means people are jumping out of the dollar into gold, into Bitcoin. So, you know, if the dollar is pushing up, that means people are jumping out of the markets into the dollar. So if the dollar pushes up, that's bearish for Bitcoin, the markets, and so on. But I do think it's likely we'll hold support and push back up. I'm going to show you why I think that's the case. This is the other dollar index chart. You can see that we are in looks like a falling wedge. This is our resistance. This is our support. And typically falling wedges, they break to the upside more than they do the downside, but again, they can break to the downside as well. If you'll notice, this orange ring right here, this vertical red line represents the apex of this ring. This is October the 1st, which is tomorrow. So, and you can see we have been respecting this orange fib circle. You know, right here we found, this goes way back. This right here was a lot of support and resistance, support and resistance, support resistance here, respecting these rings, support, rode down this ring, support here, support there, rode up at a support, more support, his support there, resistance. So again, we are respecting this fib circle. So typically what happens when you're respecting a fib circle and you cross one, that's a pivot point. And just because we happen to be in a falling wedge, it just makes sense that when we actually break out of this, it'll be at this point, which just so happens to be tomorrow. So again, falling wedge bullish, that means the dollar would go up. That's bearish for Bitcoin in the markets. That on top of the fact that the Dow Jones, it looks like we're in a rising wedge. And you got resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, and we just came down and tested support. So tomorrow, when the markets open, you know, this represents tomorrow, October 1st, when we will be breaking, when we're crossing this ring, potentially for the dollar to push up. Same time the dollar could be breaking down from a rising wedge. Same with the S&P. You can see, if you're on the 2 hour, you'll notice that we're just a little bit below this. So if that's why I have it, if you look at it on the 4 hour, we waked right back up above this support level. So again, this represents October 1st. So again, the S&P and the Dow is in a bearish formation. There's potentially break to the downside. That on top of the fact that the dollar is it looks like it's about to break to the upside. So pay attention tomorrow morning. If the dollar starts pushing up, it's very likely the Dow starts dropping, S&P starts dropping. Another thing, oil. So I've covered this in the live stream as well. You see this tweet right here. I think it's this one. So I was telling people, just like right here, rejected, rejected, rejected. We were at $40.22. It seemed like it would be coming down from this point. You see that's exactly what happened. As soon as we hit it, we came down. Notice when we came down, Bitcoin dropped. The Dow actually dropped all the way down to this point here. It did push up. But again, it seems like oil's leading the way. Every time oil drops, Bitcoin and the markets drop as well as gold. So, and you can see we came up. I mean, we've been respecting this orange fib circle for a while. Every time we hit it, we drop. And notice we were riding right up this blue ring. We were riding at a support, 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 more support. As soon as we hit this orange ring, we got rejected, found support of the blue ring, rejected, and then the resistance to the orange ring was too strong. This is when we broke this blue ring and we dropped. So again, that's what I'm saying. Every time we hit this orange ring, we get rejected. We pushed up, we got rejected, came down to support, support, we pushed up, got rejected. So I think this is going to continue. We're going to keep hitting this, getting rejected, probably come down to support, push back up as resistance until we break. When we break this, I think it's likely we're going to have a huge move. So I think it's possible if we're above the support level right here, it would be more likely that we would potentially break to the upside. And I'm expecting a big move. When you're expecting a fib circle this well, when you break that ring, that's when you expect that big move. If we break to the upside, that would be very bullish for Bitcoin, all of the markets, gold, silver. If it breaks to the downside, that will be bearish. But I think if this does break to the downside, to make it more likely we break to the downside, I think we would need to potentially get down below this point, and then when we cross the ring, you've got resistance above you, so it's more likely that this will come to the downside. And if that does happen, that is very bearish for Bitcoin, all of the markets, gold, and so on. If gold's down, if oil's down, it's going to bring all the markets down with it, and that's going to send the dollar skyrocketing. So again, this apex is right here on the 7th, and we'll officially cross it on the 8th. So again, pay attention to this pattern we're in. We're in a smaller pattern here. We're in this larger pattern here. We breaking either to the upside to potentially 10,940 or dropping to 10,496. Again, your lower target 10,154. And if we get above 10,940, 11,253. And again, the dollar, if we push back up to 93.83 and push above that, if we break up from this falling wedge, your target is 94.62. If we do continue down, this will be your support for the dollar, 93.30. This has been a lot of resistance. So resistance will flip a strong support. Again, if we drop this low, that will be very bearish for. That would be bullish for Bitcoin in the markets. Let's see real quick, Chainlink. It looks like we're in some kind of pattern right now. This is our resistance. Just to give you some support resistance levels, you can see right here, this was tested as a lot of support and resistance. This was support and resistance. So a likely upside target would be around $10.27, looks like $10.28. You will get a lot. This is a fib channel line. These are smaller fib channels for smaller targets. You can see this line extends out past this. So this is a likely strong resistance level right here around $10.50. But again, you do have support and resistance levels. This will be resistance as well. It could be kind of stepping up, just giving you support and resistance levels. So if we drop, your first support be $9.65. If we drop below that, $9.50, and you will have very strong support here at $9.21. And then we do have support levels below. But just want to give you the support resistance levels. So again, guys, real quick, gold. If we push up, your resistance for gold is $1,136. Your current resistance is 1,892, and if we drop, you're going to have strong support here at 1,842. So again, guys, if you want to access these charts, the link is in the description. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, and I'll go ahead and put a link up to that live stream. That's it, guys. Till the next video.